So what's up guys? Today in this video we're gonna understand the German unification. It's a very interesting chapter in the world history, and while I was solving the previous year questions from the history optional paper, I saw a lot of questions coming from this particular thing as early as like 1984. So after solving all the questions I got a framework that what you need to understand for this particular topic. So I'll tell you in a chronological matter, like as you find it in a normal textbook, that how this event took place actually, yeah, and then we'll look at it into a analytical perspective, incorporating some historiography. Though, like, there's one major problem I have seen in students that they're very much worried about historiography. Like, I need to understand every perspective, every school of thought. No, you don't need to do that. Let's get a it actually don't even need to know the name of historians. Okay, name of historians is not equal to historiography. You need to get their school of thought, their perspective, that what they like what school they belong from, not their name. Okay, so here you just need some three schools: the traditional school, who are like pro Bismarck, also they are known as Bismarckian cult. They called Bismarck as a white revolutionary, the Iron Chancellor. They saw Bismarck as the sole hero, the messianic figure who unified Germany. Then we, but yeah, that this view, this particular school of thought, gets criticized because they actually ignored all the other factors that caused the Germany unification, right? Like some the Napoleonic factor, the Zollverein, and also the things. So they fall into the socio-economic critic, or let's say structuralist view of history. Then we also got some postmodern historiography, who who tells us that Bismarck was a opportunistic, right? He was lucky also that he got some Russian neutrality and free from foreign affairs. That's why he was able to, you know what, yeah, unify Germany. So we will understand everything step by step. But first, we need to start with the map to get a better understanding of our today's curriculum. Okay, so just a basic map to get an idea, like where the things actually took place, and it will also create a mental image within you. So let's just here, that's Italy. Okay, and just do what you want. So somewhere here is Russia, there will be Great Britain, Italy, here's, let's say, France, and here's Denmark, Netherlands, all the things here. Then what you need to do, some draw some like that. Okay, we'll cover all the area here. That's gonna be our Austria, Austrian Empire, Austro-Hungary Empire. Do not get Hungary here. Here will be Ottoman, and this is the West Prussian state, and here is the East Prussian states. Okay, and here all the area is actually the German Confederation, and here lies Schleswig and Holstein. Somewhere here is Alsace and Lorraine, that our Bismarck took it from France. Here is France, it's Italy. So this is the basic thing you need to know to understand all the things. Okay, so before the advent of Bismarck in 1862, we need to go way back, like before 1815, let's say, from 1799. This is the Napoleonic era. So here is France, here stays Napoleon. So when he took charge, he thought himself that he was destined to win the world. And Napoleon was the product of French Revolution. So French Revolution um, is similar to liberty, let's say democracy, equality, all the things. So Napoleon also, like, not Napoleon but his army, took all these principles and also like spread them in the areas they conquered. So now the German speaking, yeah. And so one thing, um, till now there's no like single state known as German or Germany. German was the language. Okay, now all this area, some here, some here, they used to speak German language and shared some like similar culture. And there were actually initially there was 300, more than 300 states, but Napoleon, he bring down it to 39. So Bismarck actually unified 39 states, and among the 39 states, Prussia was the biggest. Okay, so this is the thing. So leading state was Prussia, and that was actually divided into two parts here, western and western. So this Napoleonic army, they spread the ideals of liberal, democratic, equality, all the ideas into German-speaking regions, and what it resulted that the German-speaking people, they were inspired with those new ideas, like, yeah, we got to know about equality, we should be equal, all the blah blah. But at the same time, they were getting suppressed by this French army. They were not German, they didn't speak German language, but they are creating their ideas of liberal, democratic thoughts into a different region, whose culture were different from them. So there were also a feeling of resentment within these people. So this helped in intellectual churning. Like if you want to name some of them, there is Herder, they're like also Grimm brothers, and some also ideas what's known as Volksgeist. This is a German word. Okay, so these three names are enough to get your answer a decent look, and that will actually make your answer stand out than others. Okay, then, so these were the intellectual figures, the proponents of nationalism in the divided German speaking regions. Okay, then what happens that there was a custom union, okay, that is known as Zollverein. Okay, Zollverein, maybe this is the correct spelling, I don't know. So this is actually a custom union. Custom union means that, as I told, that there was like Napoleon did it to 39, so there are 39 states, and within those states they abolished the internal tariffs. Okay, so basically free trade within this area, and this thing intentionally excluded Austria. So way before the advent of Bismarck, they were bounded with a economic unity in the German-speaking region, and they also excluded Austria in the first place. So these two, like the Napoleonic ideals and the Zollverein, were two factors, two pre-Bismarckian factors that led to the unification of Germany. Then, as I told you, 1862, German, what's the name? Yeah, Bismarck. He became the prime minister of Prussia, and after getting elected as the prime minister, I don't know if it was something election or what else, he gave a speech which is also known as the blood and iron speech. So he told his subjects, or let's say the citizens, that he will achieve the unification of Germany with the process of blood and iron. Blood and iron means, so blood means sacrifice, warfare, like militaristic attempts to gain the to do it for some do something for the nation. And iron is the industrial revolutionary things. You can see this is the mid 19th century. So Germany started late, but this is the time period when they did all the things, and some weapons, all the things. Okay, so this is the blood and iron policy taken by Bismarck. And this is basically the common chronology. Then what happens, this guy, this Bismarck guy, fought 3 wars, and these 3 wars were excellent. The first war was on 1864, then 1866, and then maybe let's say 1869 up to 71. So this was against the Dutch. This is known as the Danish War. This was against Austria, and this was against France. So what happens in the Danish War is that, as I told you, there is two places here, Schleswig and Holstein. These were like Danish territory, but the peoples were of German origin or something like that. So this guy, this Bismarck guy, got Austria with his side, and he fought here against Denmark. He win. He got 2 of this territory, but intentionally gave one of its administrative duty to Austria. and this was planfully done to plot a plan to fight against Austria in 2 years after that. Then what happened? He accused Austria that he is intervening in their internal matters, and they fight the Austrian-Prussian War in 1866. So after that war, and also this thing in 1864, the Northern German Confederation was done. So now it's only left the southern part. The southern part was not willing to join the Prussian-led German unification. So at this time, what he did, he, it's known as the incident of Ames telegram. Like within this telegram, he spread the news that the French diplomat, what he did, the French diplomat insulted the German Kaiser. So as a revenge, they means the whole German state needs to get unified to fight against France, and within this is how Bismarck persuaded the southern German state peoples, and they actually come together and fight against France. Then in 1871, in the Hall of Mirrors in Paris, Bismarck created they were not created but proclaimed the unification of Germany, and that's how it was done. Simple. This was a simple thing. But if we just look at the questions, the very first question that I encountered was saying that Bismarck never the unification of Germany was the thing which was prevented by Bismarck. Like Bismarck never wanted a unified Germany. So these in straight eyes, this will obviously seems as a wrong statement, but if you just analyze it very very closely, you will see within the blood and iron policy what is different from the ideals of French Revolution. That's how the unification mentality started within the German speaking region is very very different. It's actually opposite. So what does it mean that Bismarck never wanted a constitutional democratic liberal country? He always wanted a militaristic authoritarian country. So, and also there's an incident in 1848 known as the Frankfurt Parliament. So there was a debate about lesser Germany and greater Germany. So greater Germany means to include all the areas in Austrian Empire within the German Confederation, and the lesser one was actually excluding Austria and only keeping these areas. So that what happens, the Prussian hegemony will be intact, and that's what Bismarck wanted. That guy didn't want this area, so he is proponent for the lesser one, not the greater one. So he's actually preventing the whole unification. That's one point. And the number two, as I told you, that this is way different than the idealism of born out of French Revolution. So this is the first question that they actually wanted you to know about. Then there, as I told you about the three schools of historiography, the traditional, then the structuralist, and the postmodern. This is the same question they asked, that role of pre-Bismarckian era in the unification of Germany. Then you have to make a table and put the pre-Bismarckian factors. As I told you, the Napoleonic wars, not wars, or Napoleonic expansion, the Zollverein, right? And that's how you can easily do that. So if you know the chronological thing and then just look for the PYQs and just cover it thoroughly, you can easily get some good marks in this particular chapter. And don't forget the map and these three words. Basically, this is the gist of the German unification. Okay, so happy learning, keep practicing. Bye.